about 5 minutes and sure. You want me to do it now?
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
yeah, good.
Yeah, appreciate that. Great to be back in Bartow County. We were just here a week ago, I think, Tea Party meeting. And also it's great to be in another county that understands the importance of manufacturing. That's how we were going to bring Georgia economy back and the U.S. economy back, by bringing it back with manufacturing. But I am running for governor. I am the mayor of Dalton right now. And really the whole basis of my campaign is this. I'm a Rotarian, and Rotarians have a four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Well, I think the Republican Party needs a five-way test. We believe in limited government, less spending, less taxes, less regulations, and open and transparent government, or do we not? As mayor of Dalton, I can tell you, we believe in that. We've cut property taxes 6 straight years by a total of almost 30% now. We've cut most business licenses by 50%. We've reduced the size of city government by 20% as far as the sheer number of employees. We've also reduced the administrative overhead at City Hall by over 50%. Nathan Deal obviously does not believe in that because he's 0 for 5 when it comes to limited government, less spending, less taxes, less regulations, and open and transparent government. First of all, he's expanded state government, mostly at the expense of local governments, assuming more power, taking more power away from local governments, and centralizing most of it in the governor's office. He's increased spending. Our state budget in less than 3 years has grown from $17.5 billion to just under $20 billion. He's increased taxes in multiple ways, but I'll just concentrate on one, what he called his tax reform last year, with some very small tax decreases in it, and one large tax increase, the new TABT tax. That tax now is bringing in net, when you factor out the other tax decreases, of between $30 and $35 million a month. That's one of the largest tax increases in Georgia history. One of the largest tax increases in Georgia history. So when he says he's keeping taxes low, I don't think he understands simple mathematics. Last part of that is open and transparent government. The hospital bed tax, another tax. It was already a tax I was never for. It was up for renewal. It was passed as a temporary tax 3 years ago. When it was up for renewal this year, I was against the renewal of it. We need to fund Medicaid across the board from the general fund budget, not a special tax mostly paid by small businesses and their health insurance plans. But what we did this time was even more onerous. Instead of the state legislature agreeing to vote on that tax, it's not a fee, it's a tax. He moved it to an unelected board appointed by him, which I don't care what the Atlanta Journal says, I still believe it's unconstitutional. Page 15 of the Georgia Constitution clearly says that any revenue bill has to start in the House of Representatives, which that one did not. Moved it to an unelected board. They immediately levied that tax again at 1.45% of hospital revenues. They have the power to take it to 6%, which will take it from a $250 million a year tax to a $1 billion a year tax. And your legislature will never vote on it, and you'll never know it. Because they used as a precedent of that the nursing home bed tax that was passed in 2003. When that tax was passed, I think it was levied at $7.65 per bed per day. It's now at its maximum of $17.10 per bed per day, increased 28% while Nathan Deal has been governor. What has that resulted in? We now have one of the fastest growing Medicaid populations in the country, whether we take the Medicaid population or not, the Medicaid expansion or not. We've increased spending by 15% during this recovery, $300 million in the last 2 years alone. We've increased food stamps in this state. We've gone from 15th to 6th in food stamp recipients, adding over 40,000 to the new rolls this year alone. And now we have the highest unemployment amongst the states of the Southeastern Conference football, since we're in the middle of football. From Texas to Missouri to Kentucky to South Carolina to Florida to Alabama to Mississippi, Georgia now has the highest unemployment rate in the South at 8.7%. Our next door neighbor Alabama is at 6.3%. We will change this with comprehensive tax reform, led by an income tax cut. We need to cut the income tax from 6% to 4% immediately, and not by shifting it to a sales tax, by reducing the size of state government, and it can be done. We need education reform by doing this. You can trace the decline of public education in this state and in this country, first with the centralization of it into state capitals, and now into Washington, D.C. We need to decentralize education back to local communities, local school boards, and local school teachers, and then we will lead, once again, education achievement of closing that gap. The third thing is ethics. And just one thing from the ethics side of it. There's several things we need to do. They need to be under the same the state legislature and the governor's office needs to be under the same open meetings laws that local governments are under. Attorney generals run across the state holding local governments accountable for open meetings. They need to be under the same open meetings we are. If we will do those three things, I'll assure you, we will once again lead the nation in per capita income growth as we did in the 1980s and 1990s. Thank y'all, and I'll be back to see y'all again when we speak a little longer. Thank you.